Hello, welcome back to gymnastic class, and we'll be talking about intermediate gymnastic techniques. You know there are skills that are necessary to be known when it comes to gymnastic, and we need to talk about the foundational skills that are necessary in terms of gymnastic. And this presentation actually covers dynamic movement and apparatus safety also, and gymnasts will develop greater control, coordination, and confidence as we actually look into this this area of gymnastics. When we talk about the core intermediate skills, we have a number of skills that we'll be looking into. So at the intermediate level, gymnasts begin to refine and expand their skill sets by learning movements that require greater coordination, balance, and spatial awareness. So these skills serves as essential building blocks for more advanced tumbling and apparatus technique. And just like I said, those skills are actually cartwheel, bridges, round off, and basic faults. And when we talk about cartwheel, it's a lateral inversion skill, rotating sideways through hands. The bridge talks about the back bend position, a hand and feet on floor, hiking body upward. Also, the round off is talking about the cartwheel variation, whereby the line landing with both feet towards uh, together for power. And lastly, the basic for faults, which is the explosive power, speed, and precision using a springboard. This is just an overview of the skill. We'll be looking into them one after the other. When we talk about the cartwheel technique, um, it's actually a lateral inversion skill, just like I said, where the gymnast rotates sideways with their body extended and moving from one foot through the hand and landing on the opposite foot. And it is often the first introduction of inversion, that is the upside down movement in motion. And when we talk about this skill, how do we go about it? The breakdown of it is you begin in a lunge position where the dominant leg with the dominant leg forward. Also, you reach hand down to the floor one at a time, keeping arms straight and close to the ear. And also, you then kick the back leg up and over, followed by the leading leg. And lastly, land in a lunge facing the opposite direction. This is actually a breakdown of cartwheel technique, and what is the benefit? What is the benefit of cartwheel technique or skill? It actually develops spatial orientation, balance, and coordination. Also, it prepares for area skill and beam work. Also, it reinforces shoulder. It reinforces the shoulder strength and body alignment. For bridge and round offs, when we talk about bridge, the bridge is a back bend position where the hands and feet are placed on the floor, taking the body upward, and it enhances spinal flexibility, shoulder mobility, and hip extension, all critical for back walkover and arm spring. And when we talk about the techniques, what are they? And there's first one is start lying on the back with your nail bent and feet flat on the floor. The second is you place your hand beside the ear, fingers pointing towards the shoulder, and you need to press through the hand and feet to lift the hip and the chest off the ground. And lastly, you maintain straight arms and push the chest forward over the shoulder. For round off, the round off is a cartwheel um, variation, which actually ends with both the feet landing together and often used to generate power for connecting tumbling skills such as back handsprings. In It introduces the concept of blocking, where the gymnast pushes forcefully off the floor with their hands. Now we'll now talk about this technique. What are the steps, the things that are necessary to be in order to achieve this skill, if you master the skill? The first is you begin with a run or hurdle into a cartwheel setup. Also, you rotate through the cat's wheel motion, twisting hips slightly. Afterward, you bring both legs down simultaneously, landing together. And lastly, you snap down from the band to the feet for a powerful finish. For the basic vaulting technique, it's actually, when we talk about vaulting in gymnastics, it actually introduces athletes to explosive power generation, speed, coordination, and precision. And at the intermediate level that we are talking about now, it's basically the design. Basic vaults are designed not only to begin developing these attributes, but also to instill confidence, proper body positioning, and safe technique. And you will agree with me that this is we are just trying to explain this. It's more of a practical. So I need to quickly say that so that you'll be able to know it's more of a practical. Saying it's well done is actually very important, but we'll still explain it. So when we talk about the basic voting technique, it's actually can be seen in two ways: the squat on vault and the handstand flat back vault. When we talk about the squat on vault, it actually involves a simple yet dynamic movement sequence that introduces the gymnast to the mechanism of the springboard, the vault table, and landing techniques. And the gymnast springs jump onto the springboard to land in a squat on the vaulting table, then stand and dismount with control. And this actually teaches momentum transfer and soft landing. And about the handstand flat back vault, it's actually in this vault, the gymnasts run, jump onto the springboard, transition into a handstand on the vault table. He also blocks through the shoulder and land flat on their back on a mat. This type of this vault develops blocking and full body tension. Um, it is very important to discuss balance being fundamentals when we talk about, as we are talking about in the intermediate aspect of gymnastics. And when we talk about balance beam, it is actually one of the most iconic apparatus in gymnastics, known for its demand for precision, focus, and composure. And measuring just about 10 centimeter, which is 4 inches wide, the beam challenges gymnasts to perform movement with confidence, control, and elegance, and a narrow elevated surface. And for intermediate gymnasts now, having the knowledge of how beam work is very important for you to develop core strength, balance, coordination, and also the mental resilience that are needed when we talk about high-level performances. And what are the key techniques when we talk about balance beam? And the first is the working pattern. When we talk about the working pattern, it is mastering working with control is the first step to beam success. So it includes forward, backward, and sideways. So the pattern of walking when we talk about balance beam is actually a forward pattern, backward pattern, and also sideways pattern. And this will actually help in ensuring or mastering walking with control. And the second thing we need to look at is the mounting. And for mounting, we have two basic mounts. We have basically two types of mounts, and it is a basic mount and dismount. And for basic mount, it's actually a step or jump onto the beam from a lunge, while dismount includes step off, straight jumps, or cartwheel dismount for more confident gymnast. Another thing, which is a key technique, is a balance and static hold. And for this gives trained gymnasts to pause and stabilize on a narrow base, e.g., when we talk about the likes of T-pose, the Harris Q, the scale. These are actually a means where you'll be able to get the balance, you learn this skill. And the last one is the beam jump and leap. And it's introduced gradually to add dynamic elements such as straight, split, and tuck jump. What are the apparatus safety principles that we need to look when we talk about intermediate skill, the intermediate part of of gymnastic? The first one is equipment check, and you need to ensure that all equipment are well secured, they are stable, and also free of damage, because any little mistake can actually cause a fatal accident, if not even grievous. And also, you need to, another principle is um, appropriate mating, whereby you use stick, cushioned mats around all landing zone and apparatuses. So for the likes of mats, lean mats, and some other apparatus, now you need to make it thick. A cushion mat that is very thick should be used in order to provide a safe landing zone for gymnasts. Also, the coach supervision, which is all intermediate work, requires direct supervision and spotting. And this is very important, whereby the gymnast receives supervision from the coach, and it's very important for apparatus safety. And also proper attire. That is, when we talk about that, it's talking about what we wear as gymnasts when we perform our gymnastic, which is wear tight-fitting, non-slip attire, and use chalk or grips as needed. And lastly, warm up. When we come to the warm up, it is also very important, and you always warm up and stretch to reduce injury risk. And we've talked about that better in previous module. It is very important to put into consideration every of these safety principles. They are very, very important. And lastly, we've actually talked about the foundational and advanced gymnastic, the skills that are actually needed. And we talked about the cartwheel, the bridges, roundoff, and also the vault. And we see them as them building control and power. And also beam work has been seen as that which fosters balance and composure. And lastly, the apparatus safety has been seen as that which reinforces good habits. And these techniques lay groundwork for future advanced skills. So just like we said, we've been coming from the beginners stage or level. We are talking about the intermediate, and there will still be an advanced stage. That is why we need to see, go, and that was why we talked about progressiveness of gymnastic or training in the other module too. So I want you to follow with us as we move forward in talking about the basic and advanced things that are needed in order to be a successful gymnast. Thank you.